Hey everybody, Alisa Crimaldi with Crimaldi and Associates in Southwest Florida, and I'm here today to give you 5 things to think about whenever you are getting ready for your new furnished rental property. Before we get started, please be sure to like, subscribe, and press the little doorbell so that way you get up-to-date notifications whenever we post other great new videos just like this one. All right, so let's get started. These are my top 5 things for you to consider whenever you are getting ready for your new furnished property. All right, number 1, prepare. That's right. So I know that there's different personality types out there. Some of you guys went to contract a year ago on your condo. You have Pinterest boards. You've got your shopping list on Wayfair. You've got like this whole mastermind, beautifully curated list that keeps changing and you keep agonizing over. So you got that type of buyer. That would be me. Or you've got the other end of the spectrum where you close, walk into rooms to go, and you're like, this one, 30 minutes later, you are done. That would be Joe. Whatever type of property owner you are, you want to make sure that you prepare. And so to do that, you know, people think of, okay, there's all the furniture that you have to buy, but what about all the little stuff? You got all the housewares, the accessories, you've got artwork, you've got towels and sheets and dishes and silverware, all sorts of stuff, like a million different line items that if you're not organized, you're going to forget and you're going to drive yourself crazy going back and forth to Target or wherever it is to get the remaining items. So to make it streamlined, get yourself a list and then make shopping carts. And so for people that work with us, we do provide a recommended inventory list that you can kind of use as a guideline. So that'll help streamline the process. But what I would suggest to do is go into your favorite retailers and create lists. And so with these shopping lists, you might spend a little bit more. You probably saw this in any of my other videos, but one of my favorite hacks is to create an Amazon shopping list. So specific for your new condo or your new property or whatever. So you just go in, you put in like all the pillows, the sheets, the dishes, the pots and pans, all that kind of stuff. And the reason why you do this, because I know a lot of our clientele is super busy, and you might work, you might be 1,000 miles away, might not be convenient. So every second of time that you have is going to be very critical. Like maybe you're going to come down for a week, 10 days, 14 days, whatever, to get your place set up. People don't realize exactly how much time it takes just to set the stuff up. So even if everything is there and ready to go, it's still going to take you a ton of time. So if you do this, then it will at least streamline it. So if you create your shopping cart, then whenever you have your closing date scheduled, so let's say if it's all in Amazon, right? So all that stuff's going to be delivered next day to maybe 3 or 4 days later at the latest, right? So if I know I'm closing tomorrow, I just go on my cart, I hit order, all that stuff's going to start showing up on your doorstep. And why is that important? Because number 1, if you were to take your list, so if you wait till you get down here to Florida, even if you rent an SUV or a van or whatever, it's going to take you 10 million trips back and forth to Target or wherever it is that you're going to get all of this. Plus, then you're wasting all this time. You're stuck within normal business hours, which might be the same time that your vendors are going to be coming in to set up the cable and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to run short on time really quickly. So to do this, you're not going to have coupons. You know, it's going to probably cost you a few $100 more, but it's money well spent, because especially if you're buying a condo or a second floor unit or whatever, by doing this, now they're going to take it to your doorstep. So not only are you going to save time on going back and forth to the store, but you're also going to have it right there and not have to take it up and down the elevator or do whatever. So definitely, that is my number 1 hack. Be sure to do that. If you're shopping for furniture that way, I suggest making a list on Wayfair. You know, you can keep adding stuff to it, right? So whenever it's time to actually order it, like right now, I would say most stuff you'll get in 1 to 2 weeks from the time that you order it. My personal favorite online shopping places for furnishings are Wayfair, Overstock, which is now with Bed Bath & Beyond, so that's a combo. So those are my two favorite. Of those two, I would definitely suggest Wayfair, because if you get an item and you don't like it, like if it doesn't fit exactly right, like it would be okay, but you're like, oh, I don't want it, then it's kind of no harm, no foul. So you can send it back, versus Overstock, they're going to charge you for the shipping. But with Wayfair, you can send it back, or what's really cool is a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, do you want to keep it if we give you 20% off or something like that? So, and it's super easy. All you do is click yes, and then they deposit the money into your account. So I found that out by chance whenever we were furnishing our last condo, and it's fabulous. So definitely Wayfair, I would suggest that. For those of you guys who own businesses, you can use your EIN number and create a Wayfair Pro account, and you'll get a little bit of an extra discount too. So definitely worth taking a look at. If you have not been on Wayfair, you can also, a lot of times for first time orders, you can find a 10% off coupon. So if you go onto the post office website, USPS.com, and do a mail forward, like even if it's from your house to, I don't know, your mom's house for a second, whatever, then at the end, it'll print out coupons, and 9 times out of 10, there's a Wayfair coupon in there for 10% off. So that's only good for one use for that specific user ID, so make sure you make it count. But definitely worth considering. So make sure you have your list. With my personal experience with Wayfair is, like if you have, let's say, a living room set in your cart today, it may or may not be there next month. Also, the sales greatly fluctuate. So if you have a few different options in there, then whenever it's time to actually order, it'll be really easy to go in and say, hey, you know, I really like this one, but this one is $300 less. You know, maybe I'll go with that, whatever. So, and then it's all lined up. So it's super easy to do. So be prepared, have your list, have it delivered, and try to keep your shopping to a minimum. So like on your accessories, like your little tchotchke, like these little green stuff, or, you know, stuff like that, you're going to wind up having to go and get that stuff anyway. So kind of think to yourself, you're going to limit your trips to little stuff like that. Because even this stuff, that'll take 10 trips. Not really, but it won't fill up your car, but it'll fill up your shopping cart. So it can get kind of cumbersome going back and forth and back and forth. So that is number 1. Number 2, and I know you guys know who I'm talking to, do not buy super duper expensive stuff. That's right. I do not want to see Bernhardt in your rental unit. So, you know, everybody has different levels of comfort, let's say. So at home, you might have impeccable furniture. It's amazing. You know, all this special order, custom order. It's going to get there in 9 to 12 months, that kind of stuff. If you are ordering anything and it says it's going to take 6 months for delivery or 9 months for delivery, then you're ordering the wrong stuff, okay, for a rental. And I'm saying this because my heart goes out to you guys. I don't want you to be heartbroken. You know, a lot of times we have homeowners that get too emotionally attached to their rental units. And it's great. Like if you, we have a lot of owners that will use it as a rental and for personal use. But I would say don't do that, or else you're just going to be so sad. It's kind of like whenever you buy a new car and you get that first scratch and then your heart's broken, and then it's like, well, here we go. Right. So don't buy super duper expensive stuff. That doesn't mean you can't accessorize with nice stuff, for when you're there. And I'll touch on that in a second, but, so make sure you limit it, you know, moderate kind of furniture. You don't want it too cheap. Don't go to the Salvation Army, and get a bunch of stuff, because that's very apparent in the pictures and people won't rent it, or they certainly won't come back, and they'll complain the whole time that they're there. So don't do that. But middle of the line stuff is good. Rooms to go is fine. Other common places are, you'll have City Furniture, Ashley Furniture. Again, I mentioned Wayfair, different, that level. We don't want to be at Bears. We don't want to be at Robin Stuckey. We don't want to be at Clive Daniels. Don't do that for your rental property. Okay. And so I mentioned, if you want to have nicer stuff for when you're there, then that's a different story. So what a lot of people will do is they'll have an owner's closet. This is especially where you really see this a lot is for your owner's clothes, your golf clubs, if you want to leave a set down here, your linens. So some people get creeped out by having other people sleep on their sheets, which I get it totally. You sleep on other people's sheets at hotel rooms, which, some people care, some people don't care. If you are the type of person where it's going to bother you, then you should buy, normal, run-of-the-mill, like 200 thread count or more sheets for your guests, for your renters. But for you, if you got to have the super duper deluxe sheets or pillows or whatever it is to make sure that you feel comfortable whenever you come, get those items. Get it. Get the super nice blanket that you love, but somebody else is going to mess it up. Get it. Who cares? Do that for yourself. Put it in the storage closet. And when I say the storage closet, so if you're in a unit that's got, like, this is most commonly, if you have his and hers closets in the floor plan that you have, then in the smaller closet, people will put all their stuff in there and then put a padlock on it as the owner's closet. So the tenants don't have access to that, but now all of your creature comforts are there. Then I think that that's a really good compromise. So that's definitely worth exploring. Sometimes people will take their storage closet like in a terrace condo, so they'll rekey that and keep that for themselves. That's not climate controlled though, so I don't really know that that's ideal, but depending on what you have out there, that might be worth doing. If you have a unit with, let's say, 3 bedrooms, usually there's like a linen closet or something like that where you can easily lock it off for yourself and it doesn't impede the enjoyment for your tenants. So that's definitely a great workaround, something worth considering. Another thing people ask is how to set it up as far as beds go. Always, 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 always put a king in the master. Non-negotiable. Do this. Do it. So that is definitely, I would say, the most common thing that we get a question on. And if it doesn't have a king, then it winds up creating issues. So just make sure you do that. In the guest, if you have a 2-bedroom, some people try to decide, should I do two twins or should I do a queen or 2 fulls or whatever? I would say that is up to you for your personal preference. Most of the time in the communities that we do a bulk of our business with, if you live in like a country club community, or if you're buying in a country club community or a resort style community or something like that, this would apply to you. If you're not, if you're buying like an Airbnb or something like that, it's a different conversation. So call me and I can kind of walk you through that. But by and large, if it's one of these club communities, then I would say furnish the 2nd bedroom how it will be most useful to you, because most people during the high season are going to be using it. It's going to be snowbirds. And if they have anybody come in town, it's going to be for a week or 2, so kind of go that way whenever you decide. My personal preference on our personal properties is if there's, if the room will not fit at least full size, if you're going to do 2 beds in that guest bedroom, if it won't fit at least full size, then I'd just do a queen. Because I do a single queen instead of 2 twins, because twins are so tiny and uncomfortable no adult is really going to feel comfortable in that. So then you limit yourself to kids. And again, in these club style communities, there's not a lot of kids that are renting. So in that situation, I would just go with a queen. If you're in a coach home or something like that, then those will accommodate 2 fulls. They'll actually even accommodate 2 queens if you, depending on how you set up the end table. So with that, go with personal preference. Sleeper sofa is also a common question. It's not as common now as it used to be. I would say if you can find a cute couch that you like, that's a sleeper, then go for it. But if you can't, then that's no big deal, because they make these super awesome heavy duty air mattresses. They're like $120 or something. So convenient. I'll put the link in the description below. Just get one of those and put it in there. Another thing that people will do is they make like these big armchairs that fold out into a single. Those are really cute. And they don't seem to have like that bar in your back like a regular sleeper sofa does. So don't feel like you have to get a sleeper sofa. Those kind of accommodations where you specifically furnish it to hold a lot of people, that's generally in your 7-day rental or your daily rental or whatever, which are generally like on the beach or very close to the beach. These rentals that I'm talking about usually have a 30-day minimum rental. So people are going to be there for a while, and it's just a different clientele that is generally attracted to those units. So that's what I would say on that. And number 5, for those of you that are OCD, sit down now. Be prepared to replace stuff, okay? Don't get super stressed out if, you get down here and there's 7 plates instead of 8 because it broke. So go back up to rule number 2. Don't buy anything too expensive, right? So just be prepared. Stuff's going to happen. It happens at your house, I'm sure. Stuff breaks. Every couple of years, depending on the usage on the rental, every couple of years we wind up replacing the sheets or replacing the sheet or the towels or the bath rugs. That stuff just gets worn out and it just gets replaced. So just know that you're going to have those capital expenses. It's not very much, but you want to make sure that you're keeping it nice and tidy and clean, right, for your tenants, because number 1, that's going to attract repeat tenants. But if it's in the off season and it's some of our corporate rentals or something like that, then they obviously report back to whoever's footing the bill. And so you want to make sure that you have all that in place. And also, like, if you have guests that are coming down, if your kids are coming down to enjoy it, or, you have a client or whatever, you just want to make sure that it stays nice and fresh. So those are my top 5 things to consider whenever you are furnishing your new home that's getting ready to rent. So if you have any questions about this, want to schedule your own personal consultation, go through whatever, please be sure to give me a call or text. Don't forget, again, to like, subscribe, and press the little dingy bell. And don't forget to always ask for Alisa, because I've got 3 little kids and they all need new shoes.